one, Shane. You won. Okay. Well, this isn't the same type of fencing that most people would be thinking of when they hear the word fencing. Because most people hear the word fencing, they're thinking of what people call Olympic fencing or sport fencing, which is fencing with the three modern weapons of foil, épée, and saber. What I teach is historical fencing, which uses completely different weapons. The weapons we use are much larger and they hit a lot harder than the weapons used in sport fencing. For example, the type of sword that we're training to use, it's called a Highland Broadsword, and that's the size of it. Now, the weapons you'll see us training with are not as big as that, but that is the actual weapon they represent. So the weapons that are used for training have to be larger and heftier than what are used in modern fencing. So what I would tell somebody who was wondering about this art for themselves is I would say that number one, it's a martial art and it teaches you to think on your feet very quickly under conditions of pressure. So it's a very challenging and interesting physical art to practice for that reason. Nice. I was down in the shelves at the Portland Public Library looking through old history books about Scotland just because that was an interest of mine. And I came across a book called The Scottish Gael by a man named James Logan that was published in the year 1833. And that book described people practicing Highland Broadsword. And you could tell from the way he described it that it was an actual martial art. And when I realized that there had at one point been an actual art of fencing with the Highland Broadsword, I said to myself, I'm going to learn how to do that art. And it took me a number of years of checking old libraries, but eventually I was able to track down the old military fencing manuals that contained the instructions on how to do this art and was able to reconstruct it. These are some of the books. These are some of the books that I've published about this art. That's Sword and Targe, Fencing with the Highland Weapons, and that's a rather younger me on the cover. That's Scorners of Death, Fighting Skills of the Medieval Gaelic Warrior. That's Lessons of the Broadsword Masters. This is the core textbook of our system. And there's several others. So, yeah, I've written a number of books on the topic. One thing that it teaches you is that you can handle pain and you can handle fear. Because if you get hit with a single stick, it stings very similar to like being stung by a bee or a hornet. If you get hit by a synthetic broadsword, it's the same thing. It will hurt, it will leave a bruise. And the same with the steel broadswords that we fence with. Through training, you learn that you can control that feeling of fear that you have about being hit with the opposing weapon, and eventually you're not scared of it at all. You don't even care. And as you face different opponents, you learn how to face different types of fear as well, like the fear of damage to your ego from not being able to beat a particular person. That's something that might be a little embarrassing, and people are scared of that as well, but you also learn to face that type of fear. It teaches you that you have the ability to control yourself in the face of challenging emotions.